their assignment is to write letters to their younger selves. So Jacob's letter starts off like, first things first, don't be a little bitch.
Hey guys, welcome if you're new. If you are not new, welcome back. Thank you for joining us either way. I'm Suga, this is my best friend,
Spice.
And today we're going to be reviewing Married at First Sight, Season 12, Episode 14. But before we get into that, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can get notified whenever we do new videos. Also, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Suga and Spice 88. So, first couple up is Jacob and Haley.
At this point, Jacob and Haley, we know they're not going to work out, but we'll just go through
that part.
Yeah, we'll go through
for the sake of
what happened in the episode. So, Jacob and Haley, they show up at the batting cages. Haley is super competitive for God knows why. Like, she's making a huge deal about making sure that she beat him and letting him know that she beat him.
Your face, sucker. She was just like, okay.
We're not winning a prize.
We never said we were competing, but okay.
So then Jacob comes up with this weird excuse. Oh, yeah, well, the balls were moving too slow for me. I don't know. Jacob,
but they were moving at 60 miles per hour.
I guess that's too slow. Jacob and Haley have a sit down, and then she brings up his clothes. She's like, you know, you wear dress shoes to an athletic date, and he doesn't see any problem with it. Haley talks about when she was little, she was really stubborn. She didn't want to put on a helmet when she was 4 years old. She didn't want to get into the pool when she was 4 years old. And Jacob is like, yeah, that sounds about right. That kind of, you know, this stubbornness that she's been holding since she was 4, it seems to be a mantra in how she is now. Then her mom was putting her in a lot of activities, and, you know, she said that we were required to stick it through. And then Jacob says, oh, yeah, well, you know, there's no correlation to this marriage. You'll see throughout the scenes between Jacob and Haley, this is a recurring thing. Like, he's constantly trying to refer back to their marriage in not the best light. So,
and how it didn't work out. I mean, I honestly, at this point, I just don't understand. You know it's not going to work out. She knows it's not going to work out. You both have pretty much agreed that come decision day, it's going to be a no for you. So I don't understand what's the point in constantly dragging everything out. You could just be like, all right, on a relationship level, we're not clicking at all. But hey, the show is paying for us to go on a miniature golf and doing all this fun stuff. Y'all, you want to just do it as cool people, as friends? Cool. Y'all could have just did that. Right. I don't know why we're dragging this out. Why are you bringing up a bunch of old issues you have and all this other stuff? Who cares? It's not going to get worked out. Who cares? After decision day, y'all never going to see each other again.
Exactly.
Wrap it up.
So then they decide to go putt-putt. Y'all, I'm
miniature
sorry.
Golf, child. What is putt?
Okay, I don't know. They going putt-putting. I'm gonna just call it miniature golf. Jacob is like doing so well, and she can't handle it. I mean, she's like making these jokes.
She said, "Did you practice before you got here? What is it?" Because prior to that, she says, "Well, you know what he doesn't know, like the secret weapon, is that my family used to do miniature golf all the time. But you know, I gotta let him win something, so I'm gonna just let him win." You went from, "Oh, I'm gonna let him win," to, "How is he doing this?" I don't know.
I guess she was just trying to be funny, but it's just weird. I wish that they would just use this opportunity to bond and build on their relationship instead of like whatever weirdness is going on right now. Yeah, it's a lot. So then Jacob brings up pictures about his picture from like when he went to a company event.
Like a company picnic or something like that.
Yeah. And she rags on his clothes again.
Not for nothing. He was wearing the booty shorts.
Yo, Haley was not wrong. She's not wrong. Like the dress shoes, like Jacob, what are we doing here?
We get it, right? It's your life. Live your best life. Wear what you want to wear.
Yeah, that's your right.
Also, if I'm dating somebody and we go to the basketball court to have fun or play a little game real quick, or if we go into the park to run and this man show up in dress shoes, I'm looking at you like, why are you doing this? So I get both sides.
Yeah,
definitely don't want my man showing up in the booty shorts.
No.
It's definitely going to be a no for me.
So then we move on to the next scene, and their assignment is to write letters to their younger selves. So Jacob's letter starts off like, first things first, don't be a little bitch. I don't know how Haley did not laugh. That was everything.
What? That's what you want to tell yourself?
Jacob is hilarious. Ooh. And then he goes into this weird, like, Back to the Future, 80s. I don't want to change what happened in the past because then it'll change the future. I won't be the person that I am. I said, okay, Jacob, okay. It's not that deep. All you had to do was explain what advice you would give yourself as like when you were younger. Like it's not going to actually change the future. Like for the exercise, for the purpose of the exercise. Anyway, Haley writes a letter to her 15-year-old self, and she talks about getting into a relationship, surviving heartbreak.
She going through it.
Not for nothing. I feel like Haley is still hurt from this relationship that she had in high school and possibly the one after. I don't think she's fully healed, even though it's been 7 years. Then Jacob decides to ask Haley about what advice would you give yourself before walking down the aisle the day before.
That question is aggravating to me because you know that's a problematic question. You know it's going to cause an argument. Why would you even ask that? Again, y'all are at the end. All you got to do is hold it down until decision day, and then y'all don't never have to see each other again. Why are you doing this?
Right.
Making yourself miserable.
So then Haley says, oh yeah, I will tell myself that it's going to all be okay and you can push through it, something like that. And then Jacob says, he doesn't say, actually, he starts cracking up.
Oh, I probably shouldn't say it.
I'm not going to share.
Say it. Well, I would say, take that bracelet back.
Oh. Okay.
What's wrong with you?
Oh,
apparently, Jacob gave Haley a bracelet on their wedding day. Haley thought it was a necklace, and she said she was wearing a dress that had a high neckline, so she didn't wear it. She gave it to her mom to hold for her. The mom took it with her back home, which is out of state. I don't know why she would let her do that. Why wouldn't you just tell her, yeah, give it to me before you leave after the wedding?
Right.
But she didn't. So apparently it's at her mom's house kicking it. And Jacob is like, why you don't wear the bracelet? Why you ain't never wear the bracelet? You could have shipped the bracelet. She's like, well, we was beefing, so I wasn't thinking that daggone bracelet. I did not give a crap about the bracelet at that point.
Haley's like, well, you didn't wear the hat that I got you on our wedding night. And Jacob is like, okay, $20 hat versus $800 bracelet. And then Haley's like, okay, well, it's not a top priority for me. I don't really care, pretty much. And Jacob is like, yeah, that's how our marriage has been going. I don't know. Who do you guys think is wrong in this situation? I feel like Haley is wrong. I feel like Haley should just be like, oh, you care about the bracelet? Okay, let me call my mom and I'll have it shipped over. Instead, you want to be like, well, I don't really care about that bracelet. Well, that bracelet is not a top priority. Well, I'm not really thinking about it. We were beefing. Like, why don't you just get the bracelet?
But I kind of get the whole, you're going through a lot with this whole situation. You're married at first sight, then they had sex. Then she's like, I'm not even really attracted to this guy. Then they were getting into argument after argument after argument. So not for nothing, I wouldn't in my head, well, he did bring it up. That's the only thing. That's the only thing I would say. Like he constantly brought it up. But if it was me and he never brought it up, then I wouldn't be thinking about no bracelet because I'd be like, we're going through real life stuff right here. Like, I'm trying to make my way through this situation of me actually being married to this man that I can't even seem to get along with because it's like you're going through so much emotionally. But the fact that he kept bringing it up, I feel like I then would have been like, Mom, can you please?
Yeah, that's
send the bracelet.
Yeah, at the end of the day, like, okay, you only got to ask me once. Like, the bracelet is here in honestly 2 to 3 business dates. But Haley, just don't do it.
I've been like this here.
That's why I said
every time we had a conversation, bracelet would have been on.
Yeah, or even just in the drawer. If you want it back, take it back. I don't care about the stupid bracelet.
Something.
So then Dr. Pepper comes and she is talking to Haley and Jacob, and she asks, what are your questions to each other? Haley's question to Jacob is, why the hell you keep wearing dress shoes with Leisha clothes? Girl, what is going on?
That was the pressing question that was really bothering her.
The most superficial, not important, dumbest thing you could say, Haley. So then Jacob decides to bring up the bracelet. So then they go back and forth with their arguments, and Haley, I feel like she's embarrassed because she's extremely defensive. And Dr. Pepper's like, yo, Jacob is hurt. He's hurt that you didn't wear the bracelet, and then he's also hurt that it's sitting somewhere in your mom's garage. Then Dr. Pepper says she's not seeing a lot of kindness and empathy from Haley. And Haley's like, oh, yeah, well, I just shut down. And, when I can't verbalize things and I get in my emotions, I just completely come to a full stop and I shut down. And it's like, no, Haley, you're lying. You don't shut down. This whole time that you've been talking to Dr. Pepper and Jacob, you've been being defensive and combative and slightly arrogant. So I don't know where you're getting this lie from, but it does not apply. They go into the next scene where Haley is calling her mom because Jacob has left the hat. This is too much. Jacob has left the hat on the dresser. So now Haley feels compelled to ask her mom to ship the bracelet. And the mom is just saying, this is tacky. Why would he give you something that he wants to take back? Like, that's not really giving a gift. I understand where the mom is coming from, but the mom is not in the marriage, and from the beginning, the marriage has been a really negative experience. So
but that's her only getting one side of things,
right?
Once a lot of people are on the show are giving people advice and they haven't been able to see the whole thing, and I'm sure once they see everything on TV, it'll be like a different situation.
So mom says she gonna overnight that B.
Thank the Lord.
ASAP.
So now we move on to Erik and Virginia. Erik has Virginia at his family home. He's showing her pictures of himself when he was younger and telling her stories about his childhood. And he's saying how family is so important to him. Virginia starts to cry and she says, you say that, but you haven't made any effort to reach out to my family or get to know any of them. He says that basically it's not that he doesn't want to. It's just the fact that he's busy. He has a busy schedule. The family doesn't live close. And they have been going through some rough patches, so that he's been so focused on trying to build their relationship that he lost sight of trying to connect with her family. And Virginia just says, well, I reach out to your sister and your mom regularly. I want you to do the same for my parents. So he just basically reassures her and tells her that he'll make an effort to do that.
Moving to the next scene where Erik actually FaceTimes Virginia's dad. He prefaces this call by saying that he doesn't want Virginia to run. He doesn't know what Virginia is thinking. So this is why he's choosing to reach out to her family more. And then Virginia's dad just brings up, Virginia had a kind of a tough upbringing because of the divorce and the relationship between the mom. She has issues with trust. So Erik says, he understands that. Erik brings up marriage and how a marriage should go. There's just certain things in a marriage that should be, consistent across the board. And the dad says to Erik, at the end of the day, every marriage is different. Every good marriage looks different. There's no one way to be married. And the dad also tells Erik that he likes him so far as a son-in-law. So, he got two things. He got it pretty even. He got some good things, and he also got a reality check from the dad as well. They move on to the next scene where they are playing basketball. She opens up and she talks about how she used to play a lot of sports, so that's where she really had to become independent with traveling and doing all of those things on her own. There was a time in her senior year where she wasn't talking to her dad, and instead of her dad taking her to this event, her siblings showed up for her. So she always felt like she had to be independent early on. From that point, Erik says, you know, he understands that she's independent, but he just wants her to need him sometimes. And she says, I mean, how about I just want you? Like, is that okay? And he doesn't really reciprocate an answer. It's just a weird, awkward pause after that.
So the next scene, Virginia meets up with Erik's sister-in-law. She basically tells her she wanted to get some insight from her because she's known him for a really long time. She starts off the conversation by saying, well, we're doing good. We've been getting along for like 3 days. We haven't argued. Problematic. Yes, it's 3 days. You guys are still early in a relationship. So why are y'all arguing and only
Almost
have
every
3
day.
days off? Like, what's going on? The sister-in-law tells her, well, Erik and his brother are a lot alike. And they're not really good with expressing their feelings. And then Virginia goes in to say, yeah, you know, we just have some issues with certain things. Like, you know, me going out with my friends to the bar, he has a problem with that. He doesn't like it. And, you know, he feels the type of way that he's not number one. He doesn't have the number one spot in my life, but I'm trying to get him there, you know. But my friends, they're up here. They're here with it. So the sister-in-law basically says, if you do not make him number one in your life, you're going to have some serious problems on your hands.
Yes.
And then in her confessional, she says that, yeah, I'm not with Virginia on this one. This whole going out to the bar with her friends all the time, she's going to have to let that go. It's just not going to work out for her and her marriage. So she basically is, you know, kind of signaling like, yeah, this ain't going to work out.
So then Dr. Pepper shows up, and Dr. Pepper asks them, you know, have they discussed the things that they talked about separately, you know, a few days ago? And they said, oh, yeah, everything is great. We worked everything out. We've talked about everything. Okay. So then Virginia says that she doesn't want to fit in like a cookie cutter marriage. She wants her marriage to be whatever they want to make it to be. So Erik says that he agrees with what Virginia says, but he doesn't agree because there's some things across the board that stand for every marriage, such as infidelity. And Virginia's like, duh, we all know that. She's talking about the other specific things that you keep acting like can't be in a marriage. Like, I'm assuming she means like guy friends. So then Dr. Pepper gives them homework, and the homework is to write some goals about a marriage and how you see marriage and what you think it should look like and what it should be.
So then after Dr. Pepper leaves, Virginia and Erik get into a discussion, and Virginia just basically says, you know, I felt like you didn't understand what I was saying about making marriage our own because you keep telling me that, oh, that's not how you act in a marriage when I do certain things. And he said, well, yeah, spending a night at a guy's house, that's not how you act in a marriage. That's just facts.
That's true.
And she says, I don't even know why you would say something like that. Because you're the one who said that. Yeah, but then she brings up just a bunch of random unforeseen circumstances. Like, well, what if there's a tornado and then a flood comes, right? Right? And then a leopard escapes from the zoo, and then my car breaks down, and I get drunk, and I gotta stay at their house. What then, Erik?
Absolutely.
And it was like, Virginia, you had a point, and then you just went left with it. I don't know what you were talking about, but yeah, no, you don't spend the night at another man's house when you're married.
That's just basic common
I thought that was common sense, but apparently not.
I'm with Erik on that. So then Erik, at this point, Erik is fighting with all that he has, all the power within him, to not say, if we can't agree on this, we're done. He wanted to say that so bad.
You know, that's his signature line.
That's his favorite go-to, but he showed restraint. He didn't say it. He just said, I don't know what to tell you. This is me. And, you know, I mean, I don't know what to tell it either. Like, that's just common sense. If we can't agree on that.
I feel like the only reason Virginia is doing these wild, outrageous requests is because she's not in his shoes. If Erik had a bunch of female friends, I doubt she would be over there like, yeah, spend the night if you want to. Don't come home. Yeah, live it up. No. Yeah, go to the bar all times of night, anytime you want. Live your best life with 5 beautiful female. No. She would not be doing that.
This marriage is not a good fit for either one of them.
Like I said in the previous review, I think they both know it's not going to work, but
But they both want to say yes. Even if they say yes, within 6 months, they'll be divorced.
So now we have Vincent and Brianna. Brianna opens up. She's in a little cute little outfit, doing a little 1-2 step. She's in a tap dance class. She says how when she was younger, when she was in middle school and high school, she was learning how to tap dance, and she took tap dance classes. So she wanted to show Vince that part of her. So Vincent shows up, and she shows him a little steps. And they're joking around, and then they sit down and they have a serious conversation. Brianna says that when she was younger, her self-esteem wasn't the best. She felt unattractive, and she didn't really have that much confidence because her skin is darker. Dancing really helps her build up her confidence and become comfortable with herself and be comfortable in her own skin. Vince, in his confessional, says that, it hurts to hear that she had to go through these things, but it makes him appreciate her that much more, knowing how strong she is, and that he's lucky to have found someone like her. So Vincent says, now that I found you, my black queen, my next goal is to have a family. I want us to have kids. I want to get a really nice house for all of us, and just really have that family unit. And then Bri just goes, oh, it's going to be a long time before we have kids. I don't even know why she said that. That's something he wants more than anything.
And you know that he wants it sooner rather than later.
And then
you look at him and you go, huh? What's wrong?
What?
You okay?
You ain't like what I just said? Oh. So then Dr. Pepper visits them at their home. And she brings up their unanswered questions and asks if they've talked about it. She asks if Bri would be willing to compromise with letting Vincent sleep in late. And Bri basically says the same thing she said last week, which is, I just feel like he should go to bed earlier because he stays on his phone late at night. I mean, he's a grown man. I don't even know what you're talking about. You're making it seem like he's a child, and
we gotta wake up and have breakfast together.
That's what you get for playing those games, playing them video games late at night. Dad, now you're tired. You don't want to go to school. No, he's a grown man. So he says again, that's not a compromise on your part. And she was not going to budge. She wasn't going to. Dr. Pepper keeps asking her, well, what's your compromise? She's like,
go to sleep early.
So Dr. Pepper said, okay, well, since you're not going to say anything, how about he sleeps in this amount of days, and then if you guys want to get up and do something together on X and Y amount of days, then you plan it like that. And she says, okay, well, I guess we could do that. Then they bring up Brianna giving birth, and basically Vincent said, yeah, we talked about it, and we just said we're going to do research on the topic of giving birth with high blood pressure, because I'm sure she's not the only woman in the world that's young and has high blood pressure. So that doesn't sound. All the couples are saying, yeah, we talked about it, but then when Dr. Pepper starts busting out questions, it doesn't sound like you guys have really talked about anything. So
y'all look crazy.
Dr. Pepper basically says, so what about adoption? How do you feel about adoption? And Vincent basically says, it's kind of like he just shut down because that's not really what he wants at all.
Yeah.
And he says, I'll have to think about that, but that's
the question. I ain't about
right.
He not about adopting nobody.
Then Vincent takes Brianna to the bodega, and he gets her some Dominican food, and he's telling her about his childhood, and he says that he grew up in the DR. And in DR, there's no middle class. It's basically you're either living in poverty or you're really well off. And, him and his family really went through the struggle, especially him growing up without a father. He's seen a lot of hard times. That's why he appreciates what he has now so much more. And Brianna says, well, do you feel like that's why you are so pressed about having a family now, is because you didn't have that family unit growing up? And he basically says, well, yeah, I do want that, and I wish I did have that growing up.
So then we move on to Clara and Ryan. Ryan is actually visiting Clara's mom at her house, and they're having a nice little conversation. Clara's mom mentions, "I wonder how you were as a little kid or a little baby." And Ryan proceeds to tell her, like, he was a needy baby. He was very sensitive. He was the type to cry if he struck out. And I don't know about you guys, but when that made me think about, like, is he afraid to fail? Is he afraid of rejection? Is he afraid of not performing well? Like, is this probably why he has so much, like, hesitation when it comes to the bedroom? I don't know. I thought about that. I was like, maybe that's a theory. So then Ryan brings up that he wants to raise his kids in church. We go to a scene, a flashback, where Clara says, like, even though she went to church, her dad always stayed home. Clara's mom opens up, and Clara's mom says, I did not go to church until after I had Clara. She was about 5 months old, and then there was something happened, and I just got clarity, and I just decided that I just wanted to go to church. And Ryan feels, in some way pacified by this answer. He feels like, wow, so maybe there's a chance that she'll change and she'll want to go to church after having kids. And I don't know about you guys. I just feel like that's a reach. I feel like.
So you feel like because her mom had some kind of wild epiphany moment that religion is important to her after she had a baby, now you feel like all of a sudden it's hereditary, and after Clara has a baby, she'll just all of a sudden, after all of her life, never wanted to really be religious, magically now she's just going to be like, you know what? I do want to go to church. I do want to follow this religion. I just think that's like you said, I think that's a reach. So then we see Ryan and Clara together. Clara takes him up to her old room, and she shows him all her old costumes, where her bed used to be. She used to be in the show choir. And Ryan's mom, no, actually Clara's mom really, really likes Ryan. She gives some great advice. She says, treat every day as if it's decision day, and that'll help guide you through the steps that you choose to make towards the future. So I thought that was really nice. And oh, my bad.
So yeah, I thought that was really nice. And I think that if it was up to Clara's mom, that they would stay together.
So Clara and Ryan meet up with Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper asks if they discuss the unanswered questions, and they say yeah. Clara says that now she feels like it's her fault that her and Ryan are not having sex because she told the experts that she rushes into sex too fast, and she wouldn't mind being in a relationship that wasn't all about sex, and insert Ryan, basically.
She even says, you got to be careful what you ask for.
So then Dr. Pepper asks, well, if Ryan said he wanted to have sex with you tonight, would you? And I don't even know why she asked that, because you already know the answer. Clara says she understands that Ryan just wants to make sure they're completely comfortable with each other. I don't know. It just feels like Clara drank the Kool-Aid. I don't even know what she's talking about at this point, because just last week you were just losing your mind over the situation. Now you're just so completely on Ryan's side, and you just understand everything all of a sudden. I don't know. But Dr. Pepper says that, okay, I can understand if you guys were dating, but you guys are married. So, that shouldn't really be an issue, especially if you guys are doing so well in your relationship. Clara says how she says how she's now in love with Ryan. And Dr. Pepper asks, how does that make you feel, Ryan, hearing her say that? And Ryan says, well, I see the potential. What are you talking about? Then Ryan says he doesn't want to force something that isn't natural. I am confused by this statement. Also, everything Ryan says, I don't know what you're talking about.
He just talks in circles.
Every episode you say the same thing. Everything's perfect. Best relationship I ever had. We're clicking. Everything's firing on all cylinders. And then you say you don't want to force what doesn't feel natural. What doesn't feel natural?
Having sex with your wife?
He says that he doesn't want to get into the habit of saying I love you too often, because the words will lose their impact. And Dr. Pepper basically says, well, every time I get off the phone with my husband or my kids, I say I love you. And it's just so that we know, because we know life is short. And I want the last words that we say to each other to be of love.
Right.
So, and that doesn't make it any less impactful.
Sure.
And that's basically how he responds to that. Yeah, sure, absolutely.
He don't care about what you talk about, Dr. Pepper. He gonna think however he want to think. He gonna keep thinking that.
Okay. Clara goes to her confessional and she's crying and she says that I can't be married to a man who doesn't want to say that he doesn't love me, but I also don't want to force Ryan to, say something that he doesn't want to say. So it's just more of the same.
All right, so last scene is Clara and Ryan are given homework by Dr. Pepper to, try and create some vulnerability between them by writing a letter to their younger self. Clara writes a letter. It's so heartfelt. Her 13-year-old self, she talks about having self-confidence, being strong, never giving up, all these good things.
Low-key, I feel like Clara was kind of throwing subliminals Ryan's way because in the letter, she's like, don't be afraid to say I love you.
Oh, yeah, she was.
Love with all your heart. Don't be scared.
Oh, God, yeah.
Huh?
She was. Huh? That's why she got mad that when he wrote what he wrote, it didn't go nowhere. That's why she was extra mad. Yeah. He was just like, yeah, younger self, keep being you, and don't change a thing. Like, what? Clara is pissed. She's pissed. But she's not telling him that. She's like, oh, well, I guess that's what we got there, huh?
Clara is she's going through breakdown.
An internal mental breakdown.
But for whatever reason, she is not going to express it to these cameras.
Nope, and not to Ryan either.
Tell you that. Oh. You have to. And that's why I'm like, Clara, you are not in love with this man.
No. Why are you saying you love him?
Relationship is a sham.
So that's it, y'all. We made it through. We made it through another episode.
Where is decision day? Oh, can we wrap this up, please? Huh? Basically, we're pretty much over the season. I'm sure y'all are over this season. We just can't wait to decision day and wrap this thing up. And hopefully next season will be better.
Yeah. But thank you guys. Yes. As always, thank you guys for watching. Please hit us up in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And also, if you haven't already, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Suga and Spice 88. And we look forward to seeing all of you in the next video. Bye.
Good morning.
Good energy.
Today we gonna spread
good energy.
Today we gonna share
good energy.
I go to work.
Today gonna be a great day.
Good
Wake
energy.
up, thank God, drink water, meditate.
Good
First
energy.
5 minutes will dictate your whole day. All about that positivity and raising up your frequency.
Good
If you
energy.
negative, you will get removed immediately.
Good
Say
energy.
eat clean, alkaline, nourishing.
Good
What you
energy.
put